Flyin Brian here doing the first ever video version recap of a fight card. We're going to talk about UFC Fight Night 74. But first, just got this brand new glass of milk here. It's fun to drink here in my one-bedroom apartment. But you know what I like more than calcium and a little bit of protein? Mixed martial arts. So UFC Fight Night 74 was decent. I like to give the cards little goofy, weird names. I'm going to call this card UFC Fight Night 74 Bittersweet for a couple of reasons. The first reason is it's Sunday. I start my last semester of college tomorrow morning. Not tomorrow morning. My class is until 2:30 in the afternoon. But still, I got shit to do tomorrow. It's Sunday night. And it's sweet because the card ended early because of a weird collarbone injury by Charles Dubronx Oliveira, I guess. And it's bitter because I only got one fight right on UFC Pick'em on the entire main card portion of this fight card. So that's pretty shitty. UFC Fight Night 74. I'm going to recap the plays that I made. You know, I do flying with best fight picks with the best MMA analyst in the entire world. That's Daniel Levy from MMA Thought and also from Best Fight Picks. You can get the plays from him on bestfightpicks.com. Go to the upper right-hand corner of that webpage, and Daniel will send you the plays that he makes as soon as he makes them. But I also made some of my own plays, so let's go over them right now. First one of the night, I put 2 units on Chris Kalidas to beat Chris Beal. And that cashed, so let's put that in my fancy handy-dandy betting calculator here. So that's that got me 2.94 units. The next one, I put 2 units on Marina Moros over Valerie Letourneau. I guess I was just swayed by her charm. She's really, really cute, I think, so maybe I was swayed by that. So that's put in minus 2 units. Yep, minus 2. Okay. Next one, we had Yves Jaboy versus Felipe Aranches. I put 3 units on Felipe Aranches to beat Yves Jaboy because Daniel made that play, but that got us plus 1.62 units, so we're going to add a plus, 1.62. Next, I had a round prop on Yves Jaboy and Felipe under 2.5. I think it ended in the first round, so that's plus. I put 2 units on that. That's plus 310. Put that in there. Boo. What? No, that's 320. 310. There we go. And that's it. So here we go. Plus 2.94, minus 2, plus 1.62, plus 310. What does that equal? 5.66 units. Son of a gun. Check it out. Oh, yeah, look at that. My fancy handy dandy betting calculator right there. Plus 5.66 units. Good shit. Okay, so next we're going to talk about how the entire flying squad did on UFC Pick'em. At the beginning of the night, I was whooping everyone's ass. I was in first place by a million miles. I finished, where did I finish? 21st, 6 for 12. That's pretty terrible. Daniel finished in 7th, 7 for 12. And the top 5 were in 5th place. We had Plank. I don't know who that is, really. And 4th place, Gator. 3rd place, Massa Bruce. 2nd place, Ty Law. And 1st place, Grush. I don't know who Grush is. Whoever you are, reveal yourself to me on Twitter. I am at Flyin MMA. You should know that. Of course, because now we're going to talk about counter move. 10 people from the Flying Squad entered into the UFC counter move, or the Flying Squad counter move game. 10. In last place, Piper. 9th place, Insane, with 2 X's instead of an S. 8th place, Go Paulo. 7th place, Aaron 41D. Come on, bro. What are you doing? 7th place. 6th place, Steve Indigo. Guy beats me a lot, so I'm glad to have beat him because I got 5th place. My team was Felipe Aranches, Max Blessed Holloway, Chris Kalidas, Nikita Krylov, and Marina Moros. Daniel Levy got 4th. He had Frankie Perez, Felipe Aranches, Max Holloway, Eric Silva, Nikita Krylov. 3rd place, Toothless Aggression. Okay. BC Boy got 2nd place, and Grush got 1st on both UFC Pick'em and the counter move. I'm going to bet that Biff gave him an almanac from the future. That's the only thing that can explain how he got first. I'd love to see this guy's plays. So next, let's just talk about this whole entire fight card. First, I'm going to give the thing a grade, and then I'm going to say how I thought each and every fight went. First, the grade. There's going to be a lot of things that factor into me giving this grade here. One thing that's going to give it like at least a minus 0.5% or something. Like if it's going to start out as an A+, way up there on UFC 189's level, and everything that I'm going to say is probably going to take away from that. First thing that's going to take away from that, now it's at an A, is that it's on fucking Sunday. I said I got shit to do tomorrow. Second thing is going to take it down to an A-. The main event finished in really strange fashion. Another thing that's going to take it down another notch was that I don't know. I mean, all right, let's just give it an A-. Now we can do that. It's going to get a B+. But I don't know why I'm taking another point away from it. But all right, let's start off the night. We had a light heavyweight fight between Misha Cirkunov and Daniel, the Werewolf of Texas, Jolly. The Werewolf of Texas. I'm not sure how I feel about that nickname. Doesn't matter. We're probably not going to see this guy too much because Misha Cirkunov made quick work with him. TKO punches, first round, 4:45. Misha Cirkunov is evidently a really hyped prospect, I guess, in the light heavyweight division. People are saying this is a really soft division. Yeah, well, let's just bring Johnny Bones back. I hope that guy comes back really soon. You're probably going to disagree with me on that. Whatever. Next fight, lightweight fight between Shane Campbell and Elias Juju Silverio. I just like saying that guy's nickname. Juju. He started off, he won the first round, in my opinion, but he won the first 4 minutes of the first round. And then Shane Campbell, I didn't see anyone else say this on Twitter. Shane Campbell rocked Elias Silverio with an uppercut at the end of the first round. He was rocked. If you recall the fight between Talis Latis and Michael Bisping, a lot of people said that Talis Latis was rocking Michael Bisping up against the fence and then like holding him up. And then Michael could recover when Latis was holding him up. Well, I feel like Shane Campbell did that to Elias Silverio at the end of the first round. If you don't believe me, go back and watch it. It was on Fight Pass, so you can rewind that shit, rewatch it. And then Juju was never the same. Shane Campbell whooped his ass for the next 10 minutes. Actually, my stream was like 2 minutes behind during this fight, during the second round. And so I hit go back to live. Why am I 2 minutes behind? Because I was looking at Twitter at the time, and I was seeing shit people talking about like, what? I'm still in between rounds. How are you talking about how the fight's going? So I put it live. So I missed the first 2 minutes of round number 2. But then the last 3 minutes that I watched, Shane Campbell won. I saw a few people saying that Elias Silverio won this fight. I also think that those people that said that probably had money on Juju, but no controversy for that decision, at least. Right now, I just thought of something. I want to talk about legitimate MMA media members again. I did this in the last episode of the Flyin Squad Recap. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube and you don't want to look at my face, that's fine. I'm going to turn this into a podcast version and publish it sometime tomorrow. As soon as I'm done talking about these fights, I got to go to sleep because I've said it 3 times now. I've got a lot of shit to do tomorrow. So I'll turn this into a podcast tomorrow. But if you're watching right now my face, appreciate that. Really appreciate that. I just bought the webcam so that I could be part of the other shows. You might know of Daniel's show. He does Best Fight Picks Radio. He also does Half the Battle, and he always has the people with their faces on it. If I ever want to go on that show, I needed a webcam, so I went and snagged one up for myself. Also, last night I was just antsy for some fights, right? This fight card happened on Sunday. I was really antsy for some fights to happen, so I was just consuming all of the MMA podcasts I possibly could. I listened to Best Fight Picks Radio with Daniel and our good friend Bob Voss, the MMA State of Mind, the garbage man. And then I was listening to Luke Thomas from MMAfighting.com do promotional malpractice. And I've complained about the legitimate MMA media members a few times now. The first guy I was talking about, I think he's from the Bleacher Report. I'm not going to say any names, but Luke Thomas, I really like he's got a really nice voice. Let's be honest with that. He's also very knowledgeable. And so that's one reason why I like to listen to him talk. He's very, very knowledgeable about the sport of mixed martial arts. My favorite sport, in my opinion, is the greatest sport in the world. If you're watching me right now, you have to agree. Otherwise, you're just really bored. But he said that there was only 2 fights on this entire fight card that he wanted to watch. And if he didn't get paid to watch fights, he would only watch 2 fights. And my thought is, can I have your fucking job, dude? I watched every single fight, every single second, except for those 2 minutes that I said that I missed because my stream was being a douche. Because I wanted to. Nobody paid me. I fucking by myself, right? I do this every time. I love watching these fights. I love mixed martial arts. And this guy's like, there's only 2 fights on this card that I would watch if I wasn't getting paid. Well, early on in the fight card, this fight card was a lot of fun. I feel like maybe I lost steam because, again, it's Sunday night. I lost a little steam. Olivier Aubin-Mercier really fucked up the flow of this fight card. You know, I got a little bored after that. But come on, man. The main event and co-main event were fun. We'll get to those in a little bit. But, dude, and another thing, we haven't got to watch fights in 2 weeks. That's a long time. It seems like for a while there, fight card every Saturday. Just count on it. I'm busy on Saturday. Friends ask me, hey, man, you want to do anything on Saturday? I'm like, if it doesn't involve watching the UFC, I don't want to do that, whatever you're asking me to do. So even there was 1 week where we had 3 fight cards in 1 week. Fucking overkill. But so we didn't have a fight card for 2 weeks. And we have this one. And I'm going to quit rambling about that. But come on, MMA media, if you don't love this sport, give me your job. I know that I haven't been around trying to cover the sport as long as you have, but I mean, maybe eventually I'll get there. And that's the whole thing I'm doing right now. I want to watch every single fight so I can consume as much mixed martial arts as possible, and then someday I can have Luke Thomas's job. Get fucking paid to watch the greatest sport in the world. Cannot get any better than that. Flyweight fight, first fight of the prelims on Fox Sports 1 between Chris Kalidas and Chris the Real Deal Beal. I picked Chris Kalidas because I have no fucking idea why Chris Beal dropped to 125 after winning his first 10 fights in his career at bantamweight. He lost a split decision to Chris Kalidas. I scored it for Kalidas. I saw a few people scoring it for Beal. You know, it could have went either way. But as you heard me say, the units that I made on this fight card, I put money on Chris Kalidas, so maybe I was a little bit biased, but he did win the split decision. I thought it was justified. Chris Beal started off guns a-blazing, gassed out really, really fast. Second, third round, he wasn't pressing the action. He wasn't very active. He didn't have octagon control. Chris Kalidas had all of those things. So I don't think it was warranted. A robbery, people getting all fucking crazy about it being a robbery or whatever. Next, we had a lightweight fight between Nikita Krylov and Marcos Rogério de Lima. De Lima's nickname is Pejao. That's Portuguese for Bigfoot. Got his ass whooped by Al Capone. Give the nickname back to its rightful owner, Antonio Bigfoot Silva. All right? You don't deserve the nickname. Sorry, bro. I know I don't have any credentials that say like nickname guy, or I don't have a patch that says nickname guy, but I'm going to call myself the nickname guy, and you don't deserve the nickname Bigfoot, bro. Nikita Krylov, this guy, I don't know, he doesn't look like he's that good, and then he wins. I don't understand. I don't really understand. I mean, Daniel and I break down the fights, and I know that he's got a master of sports and this and that and all that jazz, but I mean, he just doesn't look that great, and maybe it's because I can't understand him when he talks, and he hardly talks, even though he doesn't speak English. He still just hardly ever talks. Maybe if he said some words about how I'm a fucking killer, I'd believe in this guy. The clown kid, Andrew Lawrence, believes in him. Maybe he's joking, but if we put this guy against a legitimate contender or legitimate top 15 guy, he's going to get whooped. Like Ovin St. Preux hit him with a Von Flue choke. That's going to happen, I think, if you put him against a top 10 guy. But he's fun to watch against people like Marcus Rogério. I'm no longer Bigfoot de Lima. Bantamweight fight, Felipe Ranches versus Yves Jaboyne. Yves came out guns a-blazing. he took down Felipe right away, was throwing haymakers, just wild punches, heavy punches too. And got caught with an armbar. This is his 4th loss, all of them by finish in his last 6, I want to say. When he was walking to the cage, John Anik said, "This guy's 5-5. He's won 5 out of his last 10." Wow, what a fucking stat! You win 5 out of your last 10. That's really great. How about we skip over that stat, John Anik? If you're trying to hype somebody to watch this fight or something. Felipe Aranches could be. Yeah, he could be a contender in the bantamweight division coming up. I paused because I was thinking about the next fight, a lightweight fight between Frankie Perez and Sam Hands of Stone Stout. I said on the Flying with Best Fight Picks podcast that Sam Stout needs to give up his Hands of Stone nickname because he hasn't knocked someone out or TKO'd anybody in 4 years. 4 years. His name's Hands of Stone. He needs to give that nickname back. Well, he also needs to retire. Yeah. Yep. He had never been knocked out until 3 fights ago. And then all 3 fights, just like he gets knocked out with just a tiny little, not that big of a punch. Frankie Perez did hit Sam Stout with a nice, like a right hook thing. Dropped Hands of Stone face down 54 seconds into the first round. So it was a decent punch, but it just seems like anything will make this guy go out. And I don't want to watch him fight anymore. He lost 3 in a row in the UFC. What's he going to do? Go to the Bellator and face nobodies? And they're not nobodies. I respect every man that steps into the cage, unlike Michael Bisping. But, man, I just don't want to watch him fight anymore. He gets to the point where if it's that easy to knock a guy out, it's not good for his health. And I am a human being, and I feel for him. I don't want to see him get knocked out again. Frankie Perez, 26 years old, coming off the first ever victory inside of the octagon, announces his retirement inside of the octagon. What? Fuck, man. You just beat a guy that's pretty well known. It's a decent name, and it's your first win inside of the octagon. I know that I wouldn't put much stock in it because Sam Stout's chin is completely busted, right? But to retire inside of the octagon at that moment is awesome. I think it's fucking awesome. Michael Bisping thought it was stupid or something, doesn't have cojones enough to keep fighting. And while I don't think that Michael Bisping should have said that, I do think that if Frankie Perez were to fight again, you'd have to pick against him because obviously his mind's not in it. Like, he doesn't want to do it. So you can't pick him. And if he was the favorite, I'd probably throw units on the underdog because his mind's obviously not in it. And the only reason he would be back is he said he was retiring because he was hurting his body and he didn't like to leave his family or whatever. Now, the only reason that he would come back is maybe to help feed his family. He runs out of money or something. But I saw Brian Stan tweet during this event that there are easier ways to earn money. And yeah, there is. I don't know if, like, some of the guys in the World Series of Fighting I saw one time, a guy made $10,000 or something crazy like that. Maybe less than that. It was some crazy low number. I wouldn't let one of these guys punch me in the face for $10,000. I don't want to get any worse, and it fucking hurts. Pass. Yeah, I don't want to do that. So yeah, there are easier ways to make money than being a prize fighter. That's another thing that bothers me about legitimate MMA media members. They call it prize fighting a lot. Prize fighting. And sure, these guys are fighting for a paycheck, but if they're fighting for a prize, wouldn't they give them, like, when you were a kid and you're doing sports, or I raced go-karts when I was a little kid. But, they give you those little plastic trophies with, like, the marble on the bottom. Yeah. Maybe you give the winner one of those every single time. That'd be a prize fight. I know it is prize fighting. I just don't like the term. Main card portion. Pacing was fucking terrible because Frankie Perez put Sam Stout out so early. Had to wait like a half an hour for Valerie Letourneau versus Marina Moros to come in. Valerie Trouble Letourneau and Marina Iron Lady Moros. Women's strawweight fight. Marina Moros came into the UFC with, I had no idea she was even fighting, to be honest. But then after she whooped the shit out of Joanne Calderwood, she had a lot of hype behind her. She went so far to do the discount double check, put the belt around my waist, and called out Joanna Jędrzejczyk or Jędrzejczyk. Well, that hype is gone because she got her ass whooped by Valerie Letourneau. These girls, they didn't look like they should have been in the same weight class. I was also listening somewhat, very little bit, to the Joe Rogan Experience Fight Companion, right? And they were talking about adding weight classes because there's like a 20-pound gap in between middleweight and light heavyweight. And there's a 20-pound gap in between women's strawweight and women's bantamweight, 150 and 135. And while there are 125-pound women in like Invicta and other places, women are going to, go up a weight class or go down a weight class just to be in the UFC. Possibly Marina Moros belongs at 105 atom weight. Possibly. Or, Valerie Letourneau has fought at 135. So she looked a lot bigger than Marina Moros, and she just kind of walked her down, Chris Lieben style, flat-footed. I'm walking towards you, going to throw some haymakers. And it wasn't that severe, Chris Lieben, but you get the point. She walked her down. Marina Moros didn't have any big old pepper on her punches when she was hitting Valerie Letourneau. And one crazy thing is that until Ronda Rousey knocked out Bethe Correia, we had never really seen, other than Chris Cyborg, that doesn't even count. I think she's juiced to the gills, and that doesn't count. Until Ronda put Bethe on her face, we'd never seen a woman just like drop a lady stone cold out, fucking right on her face, right? Well, Valerie Letourneau almost did that to Marina Moros in the first round, and it was crazy. Valerie Letourneau obviously has a ton of punching power. The next fight of the night was the least exciting fight of the entire night. I'm going to check Twitter real fast, see if we can find the performance of the night bonuses. Interesting. Sorry, let's get back to it. The next fight of the night, Olivier Aubin-Mercier bump and grinded Tony Sims to a 30-27 majority or unanimous decision victory. I said that this was a GSP style performance, and I don't mean any disrespect to GSP. Early on, the dude was extremely exciting, but he played his game plan to a T against everyone, right? We call it the bump and grind or the bump and hump. And he did that to Tony Sims. Tony Sims has some huge punching power. He's won 10 of his wins by knockout, I'm pretty sure. So Olivier Aubin-Mercier bump and grinded Tony Sims to the victory. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Next up, we had Francisco Trinaldo versus Chad Laprise. There, I said it right, haters. Daniel and I had, or mainly Daniel, which was refreshing for me, had some people hating on him on Twitter for something that he said about Chad Laprise on the Flying with Best Fight Picks podcast. Chad Laprise stutters in his interviews, and Daniel said that that's bad and that he's going to look to fade Chad Laprise in the future because he thinks he's taken too many punches to the dome piece, and that has resulted in him having a lower chin, of course, right? We talk about a lot. Your chin never recovers. Even though Chad Laprise was undefeated, Daniel believed that Chad Laprise's chin was depleting. And these Canadian fans, obviously, I love you Canadian fans. Thanks for watching this and listening to the show. It's crazy how mixed martial arts connects the world. But anyway, they were talking about how Daniel didn't know what the fuck he was talking about because Chad Laprise is undefeated. How could his chin be depleted? Or whatever. And then we also have been saying Chad Laprise, and they're like, it's Laprise. Okay, my bad. Well, he got his ass whooped by Francisco Trinaldo. Francisco Trinaldo is a a poor man's Gleison Tebow. But he didn't grind this win out. He knocked out Chad Lepre midway through the first round. The fight was fairly fun, but I was a little bit bored of this fight card because of Olivier Aubin-Mercier putting me to sleep in the last fight. I was a little distracted. And also at this time, I was listening to the Joe Rogan Experience. This time, Eddie Bravo wasn't nearly as annoying as last time, so that was nice. Next, we had a welterweight fight between Patrick the Predator Cote and Josh Berkman. I'm not even going to say this guy's nickname. Josh Berkman, what the fuck, man? What the hell were you doing in there? First 2 rounds, the first 10 minutes of this fight, he would just wait until Patrick the Predator Cote threw at him first, and then he would try to counter. And then when Patrick would land on him, instead, Patrick would feint, so Josh would throw, and then Cote would counter. Berkman would be like, that didn't hurt me. Nah, fuck it. Just put his hands down and be like, it didn't hurt me. It didn't hurt me. Just say that for the next 30 seconds. Bro, how about you stop saying that and you throw some punches at Cote? Maybe that'd be a good plan. In his corner between rounds, they're just saying, you got this, man. You're so much stronger than him. You got this. You're so much stronger than him, Josh. Yeah, just pump his ego up. How about you tell him to do something? Give him a game plan. Hey, bro, we're going to need more output from you. We're going to need you to press forward more. When you're pressing forward, Patrick can't get his strikes off because he's throwing at a distance. He's throwing these lengthy strikes. If you press it closer, you're going to have a better time. No, fuck it. Drop your hands. Stand over there and talk to him. I don't understand. Next, we had another welterweight fight, Neil Magny, Eric Silva. Neil Magny clearly won 30-27. Clearly. Eric Silva came in looking squishy. I tweeted out a couple times. He did look squishy. He did not look like his, ripped physique, handsome self. He looked soft. Looked like he hadn't lifted weights or ran in months. Trained at all. And Eric Silva's known for coming out really fast and putting a stamp on people early. He came out lackadaisical, just chilling. Like Anderson Silva gave him a Xanax backstage. Or something. What the fuck? I was happy to see Neil Magny come back from his ass whooping to Damian Maia. And also, I'm talking about this a lot. Best fight picks. Flying with best fight picks. I said that maybe Damian Maia is clouding my vision on making this pick on Neil Magny. Yeah, I think that he did cloud my vision. Damian Maia is top tier. Eric Silva's not top tier. Why did I think that because Damian Maia could do something to Neil Magny, that Eric Silva could do it to Neil Magny as well? Why did I think that? I have no idea. Neil Magny used his length and a high output to beat Eric Silva. A couple of times it went to the ground even, and Neil Magny got back to his feet, or he took it to the ground twice. I think both guys had 2 takedowns. Neil Magny tried for a third late in the fight. Eric Silva had very few good moments in this fight, and yet a guy named Greg Jackson, not the one that coaches Johnny Bones Jones, but a guy named Greg Jackson scored it 29-28 for Eric Silva. He might have had 5 seconds worth of good shit go on for him in this fight, Eric Silva. This guy was obviously just swayed by his good looks. Obviously. I don't know what else could possibly fucking be. He got the 2 guys mixed up because of the stupid Reebok shorts where they're like, this guy's in the black trunks, this guy's in the white trunks. Well, they're both black and white. They're both black and white. Fucking one pair is 75% black, 25% white, and the other's the opposite. Why couldn't we do something better than that? Why couldn't we make some blue trunks, red trunks? That'd make a lot more fucking sense. Maybe that's why this judge got it switched around. You know what? That's why he got it switched around. That's the only reason that I can possibly think of. Finally, the main event. Max Holloway, Charles do Bronx Oliveira. Let me get the official time. I'll refresh my page. Okay. Max Holloway put Oliveira out with a whizzer at 1:39 of round 1. It was a TKO retirement. Charles Oliveira hurt his collarbone or something. And he quit. So it was a scary moment. To be honest with you, I love watching this sport, but like he's grabbing his neck and they've got to bring the stretcher out. I'm like, I just hope this guy's okay. he's in there fighting, and I know that there's a high chance that someone's going to get hurt, but he looked in some severe pain, and he was just laying on the ground. I felt bad for the guy. Max Holloway danced around and got all crazy like he deserved to dance around and get all crazy in victory. You got the win, sure, celebrate, but you didn't. It's like you legitimately TKO'd this guy with a body kick, liver shot, he went down. Oh, shit, fucking he went out because he got injured. It's freak deal. Freak deal. You know what? This is what happened. I know what happened. I know exactly what happened. Max Holloway, blessed, had God on his side. Yep. And he prayed that Oliveira would get injured during this fight, and God answered his prayers because he has Jesus on his side. Look at this. Yoel, soldier of gay Jesus Romero, Max Holloway, both getting, some victories. They got the Lord on their side. That's it. That's all you need to do. If Josh Berkman would have accepted Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior, Josh Berkman would probably won that fight. Simple enough. Well, that does it for recapping that fight card. I want to give out my own performance of the night bonuses and also my own fight of the night, I guess. Fight of the night. I think it belongs to Valerie Letourneau versus Marina Moros. Let's just say that one. Performance of the night. I'm going with, God, Neil Magny almost deserves one just for coming back on 22 days' notice to put in this performance, but, it's usually got to be a finish. So I'm going to say Frankie Perez, fast TKO over Sam Stout, and also Nikita Krylov. Got a rear naked choke victory over Marcos Rogerio, fake Bigfoot de Lima. Couple of programming notes if you're a fan of Flying with Best Fight Picks, or if you're a fan of Flyin MMA or me, Flyin Brian. One, follow me on Twitter at Flyin MMA. Please like me on Facebook as well, facebook.com/Flyin MMA. I hardly ever show my face on anything, but I do have an Instagram. Same thing, instagram.com/Flyin MMA. So as for the programming notes, next week there is no fight card. Sad face. But I will still be doing a show with Daniel Levy, the best MMA analyst in the entire fucking world. We're going to do what we're calling Flying with Best Fight Picks 101, or just Best Fight Picks 101. The first 5 minutes or so, I'm going to act like I don't know shit. I'm going to ask Daniel questions like, what is a unit? What do you mean parlay? Is that some type of dance? How do you hedge something? Is that like a bigger version of a bush? What is that, right? I'm going to be asking Daniel all these questions. What's a unit? What's a parlay? Things like that. What does minus 500 mean? Simple shit like that. But then after we get all that stuff answered, Daniel's going to go into talking about how he does his film study, what his mindset is when making plays. Daniel made quite a few units tonight, I think. And we're calling it Best Fight Picks 101. See, one of the things with this podcast is that, like, this episode, it's done. It's got an expiration date. The Flying with Best Fight Picks episodes, they have an expiration date. As soon as the fight card happens, pow! You never want to listen to that podcast episode ever again. I don't know why you would. I wouldn't. You don't need to preview a fight card if it's already happened. So this podcast episode is going to be one that's going to stand the test of time. And then, also, I said that I start school again tomorrow. I have a major in broadcasting for radio broadcasting, not a major. I have a minor in that. I got a major in something else. But I'm going to be returning to the campus radio studio and doing a show called Mixed Martial Rock. I don't know when I'm going to be doing it, but it's going to be, I'm talking about mixed martial arts, and I'm going to play rock and roll music. So I'm hoping to start right away this week because I'm taking the class that you have to take to be on the radio, but I've already been on the radio for 2 semesters, and I don't need you to fucking reteach me. So just let me in there. Let me get after it. Also, 2 weeks from now, kind of, Daniel and I are going to be previewing UFC 191. We're going to be doing that hopefully on Wednesdays. I know that we do a lot of shit where we put out the podcast on like a Thursday night, then you have Friday or Saturday to listen to it. Well, this time we put it on like Wednesday afternoon, and we got the most views ever. So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to put it out at that time, Friday afternoon. Now, I'm going to check Twitter real fast, and we're going to look up if we can see the performance of the Knights yet. Looking through. Oh, man. This is something. Counter move. In the future, I hope to get my own counter move game. The Flyin Squad counter move game or something. We only had 10 people in it tonight. I hope that more people will join next time. But the highest scoring person was Misha Sukranov with 128, and the lowest score was Sam Stout. Okay. Yeah. Let's see about performance of the Knights. Let's just refresh the Wikipedia. Nothing. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Fight of the night, Cote versus Burke. I guess. Performance of the night, Aranches and Perez. Yeah, they were deserving of that. I didn't think Cote Burkman was that great. I guess at the end of the second round, they did start throwing pretty heavy hammers at each other. It was a decent fight. I just couldn't get over the lack of like, what the fuck are you doing, Burkman? Look here, Cote said, Burkman rocked me, but head movement training we did saved me. He rocked him, but he hardly ever threw anything. Mainly spent the fight with his hands down, just chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool. Playing some mixed martial arts inside of the octagon. Anyway, that pretty much does it for me. I got to get up early tomorrow. It's Sunday night. I'm going to increase my knowledge of meditation before I go to sleep tonight. And if you listen to the show, Flying with Best Fight Picks, or any of the shows that I do, I like to say namaste at the end. I'm going to do that again today. Surprise. But I actually like meditation and yoga. I think that they're fantastic for your body, for your mind, for your soul, if that's real. But so I like meditation because I have anxiety disorder. You know, I have anxiety attacks a lot. If you have ever talked to anybody about anxiety that's actually had an anxiety attack and you've said, just calm down, bro, you don't know what the hell's going on. You can't just calm down. Anyway, I use meditation to help me with that. It's time for me to peace out. Thank you so much for tuning in to this. Hopefully next time, if you didn't play the UFC Pick'em or Counter Move with us, you will. Also, check out cappertech.com. Check out bestfightpicks.com. Go to the upper right-hand corner. Register your email address. Daniel will send you his plays as soon as he makes them. And, follow me on Twitter. Let me know what you thought of this recap or what I could do to improve. And next time, hit me with the hashtag Flyin Squad. I only had one person hit us with the hashtag Flyin Squad, and that was Fat Sarah, lazy in the clinch. Thank you so much for using that hashtag and playing along with us. His tweet was about the Kalidas Beal split decision. He said that I wasn't upset by it. Kalidas appeared to be more aggressive. Anyway, I'm out. Namaste.